Hello, everybody out there. It is a wonderful day in Facebook world and beyond. I'm hoping for you. It's Thursday here in Nebraska, and I have been immersed in some classes the last couple of days. And honestly, some of the insights from them I just absolutely wanted to share here on my personal page, because so much of what the business world looks like right now is personal. We just can't really escape the fact that a number of people that we're working with at the professional level are experiencing challenges personally. And so it's important that we recognize that in the business side, but on the same end of it, as we interact personally, some of the things that I've been learning and experiencing on the business side of engaging and interacting with people, it's nearly as critical in the personal and professional world equally. And so I just wanted to hop on and share and make sure that I catch people both in my business and personal space on a message that we just had this past week. And where this came from, honestly, is there's a group of us that are studying the content from the John Maxwell team called Adversity to Advantage, shifting from adversity to advantage. And as that may seem like a bit of an odd title, and what does that look like? It's really just making sure that you don't settle into a point of adversity where we're at right now, settling in this point of adversity without realizing that for every negative situation that we find ourselves in, that we have an opportunity to seek a positive. And if we are aware of that, then we can embrace hope for where we're at, hope for where we're going, and hope for what the outcomes of this current situation will be. And so I wanted to just share with you what we found, because what we found collaboratively was amazing. And so the things that I'm going to share with you today, actually, some of them are not my ideas and my statements and my words, but they were so powerful in how they were shared. I just wanted to make sure that they reached beyond our group. The first, I want to start by talking about empathy. If you kind of look at the comments that I had there, I talked a little bit about empathy, that people need us to be in a space of empathy right now. And because they need us to be in that space of empathy right now, we need to understand what empathy is, how we can offer without diving into that dark space where people can sometimes find themselves, and how we can make sure that we're offering hope at the times where we're offering empathy. And that can be a challenge, because people who are needing your empathy may not be able to see the hope. And so I wanted to first talk about what empathy can look like. And really, that's the way of you valuing the people that are around you, understanding the space that they're in, how it impacts them emotionally, how it impacts them physically and spiritually, how the space that they're in impacts who they are and what they're capable of. And so it's your understanding of, not agreement with necessarily. It's not that you have to agree that where they are is where they should be, and how you don't have to agree, but you need to understand where they're at. And that understanding is based on their perspective, not yours. That's the hard part. Because what we have for understanding and perspective, of course, is based on our life experiences. So through empathy, you can listen. You can validate that you understand how they feel, and that you appreciate how they feel. But from there, it's important that you, especially if you're a leadership role for that individual, or even just as a peer, as someone that truly does value them, you want to offer hope. And hope can sometimes be as tricky as empathy, because in the same way, hope is our perspective. Just as we cannot say we fully agree with or fully have experienced some of the things and challenges that people are going through right now, because we haven't been there, our perspective of what hope is, what hope looks like, what it feels like, well, it's based on our experiences. It's based on what we need. It's based on what gives us security, comfort, opportunity. And so hope for us could be very different than what hope would be for somebody else. The one thing that I do know is that we have to be holding on securely to our hope before we can help someone else find theirs. In fact, we really should be holding on securely to our hope before we dive into that place of empathy for them. Because if you don't have that light of what could be, that light of opportunity, that light of potential, if you can't clearly define that, speak it, and understand what that is for you, and you dive into that space of empathy, well, it's possible that you wouldn't be able to find your way out for both of you. One of the great descriptions that was given the other day on the class that I was in, it was just amazing how they described it. They said, having empathy is seeing someone drowning and being willing to jump in with them. But if you jump in without hope, if you jump in without your life jacket being hope, if you jump in without that, then you'll both drown. And so you have to have for yourself a knowledge of what hope is for you before you can dive in and provide empathy for those that need it. And ironically, by holding on to that hope for you and knowing what that hope is for you, then they too can experience that. Because you can share that buoyancy. You can share that ability to float, that ability to find safety with them. So it's incredibly important that you have your hope securely intact before you dive into the space of empathy and try to offer it for others. Now, the other thing that was shared, and this is an acronym, but it was just incredibly powerful, because the one thing that I feel when we started talking about this, the one thing we really struggled with was, what is hope? Defining hope. And of course, like I said, it was hard to define because it was different for each one of us that was in the room having that discussion. It was different. And so one of the individuals provided this acronym, and it was absolutely perfect. It was having only positive expectations. Hope is having only positive expectations. And I thought that was just absolutely perfect for what hope could be for me and what it could be for you and what it could look like for anyone. But if we understood that to be the foundation of what it is, then we'd be better equipped to help people find it. So those are the two things that I just wanted to share with you today. Again, the time that I've been blessed to spend with some of the leaders in my field the last week has just been incredible. And then in turn, today I was able to teach and share with a group of leaders in my community. And so if you're not doing that, if you're not connecting in those circles of leaders around you, find a way. Because I can tell you, it just incredibly blessed and elevated where I was at this week. And so I wanted to make sure I passed it on to you. I hope you're having an incredible day. And always remember, your legacy is now. It's incredibly important that you choose to lead well. Take care.